It's time to fire this thing up.
Welcome aboard ShipShape TV Essentials. This is your port of call for the most impactful upgrades, expert advice, and hands-on solutions from seasons past. This episode is proudly brought to you by SureHold, because anything worth doing is worth doing bright. From cleaning to protecting and perfecting, SureHold has everything you need to keep your boat shining. Don't just go boating, go showboating. Now, let's hoist anchor and set a course for another exciting episode of ShipShape TV Essentials.
If boating's your game, then you'll agree. ShipShape is the way to be. Out on the lake or on the sea, ShipShape means trouble-free. ShipShape means being neater. ShipShape makes boat work easier. ShipShape is the way to go. The ShipShape Boat Care Show.
It's good to have you working around the boat with us today. I'm John Greviskis, and welcome to America's favorite boat improvement show, ShipShape TV. If you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm actually tracing out this bulkhead onto some composite core material. We're gonna switch these bulkheads from wood to the composite, and we're going to be finishing up our transom by tying in a couple of knees. Get ready for a couple more great ways to make your boat shipshape.
ShipShape, America's favorite boat improvement show, is being brought to you in part by Mid-Island Marina, home of the VIP guarantee. Stainless Marine, fly like an eagle with performance-proven products for every boat owner. And by Inflatable Experts, Florida's inflatable superstore.
Well, I've got our bulkhead laid out on the composite core material. In fact, we're using 6-pound Airlight composite material. This is perforated, what I've scribed our bulkhead on. We've got a 6-pound plain core material and then a contoured core material. And Nick, I was hoping you could explain the difference of all these materials and what applications you would use them on the boat.
Okay. Basically, the perforated and the plain material pretty much are the same types of core, and they can be used in almost all the same applications. The difference on the perforated and the plain is that the perforated has some small bleeder holes drilled in it.
So what are those for?
The bleeder holes are if you're going to use the core, say on a hull side or a hull bottom, and you're going to get it into vacuum bagging.
Right.
Now, the vacuum bagging is a process in which you would apply the core material in mold, and then you would apply a core bonding agent to the side of the boat or the bottom of the boat, and then stick this core on and cover it with plastic and a PVC pipe and basically suck this core material right to the hull sides, making it permanent, leaving any air gaps from in between. Okay. The plain, basically the same thing, but you wouldn't use the plain in a vacuum bag situation. You would use the plain on an interior bulkhead. Sometimes the bigger boats looking to save weight inside, as we're looking to do, and looking for something that's not going to rot, would use the plain to build cabinets and such out of as well. Mm-hmm. Then we get into probably one of the more commonly used cores, and this is called the contour. This particular sheet I have here is a Divinicel, and there are many different brands out there, and you want to talk to whom you're buying your core from. We went through Fiberglass Coatings, and they were very helpful, by the way. And let them know what you're doing, what kind of structure you're looking for, and they're going to recommend the different densities. Now, the difference again between the contour and the plain or perforated is the fact the contours you would use for what we call compound radiuses. If you had a center console with a bend one way and then maybe a step coming the other, you can apply this material in different angles and you can cut it. Still is going to give you the same structural strength. Even though there are all the little cuts in there, the strength is going to be the same by the time it's installed and bonded in place. Just allows you to work with it a little bit.
Now, what are these knees that we're going to be putting into our boat? Explain how we're going to do that.
Okay, well, since we're doing a composite thing today, we're going to go ahead and build some composite knees as well. And this is 1.5 inch thick, 10-pound density core. And this goes all the way up to 12 and 14-pound density, which is really strong. I'm going to take this stuff and I'm going to cut out my knees, and I'm going to put two of them together. I'm going to screw two knees together, giving me a 3-inch knee, and then hot coat it.
Nick, real quick, can you tell us why we need knees?
In this boat, and we'll go inside and take a look at it, but in this boat, since we went ahead and put the plug in the transom, we want to tie in this big, long transom area into the hull bottom, into the stringers, and these knees are going to do that for us.
Excellent. Like the original bulkheads, we want to laminate these pieces of material. So what we're going to need to do is hot coat them with a low profile polyester resin. And Fiberglass Coatings set us up with this particular product. Now, Nick, why are we using the low profile resin?
John, your low profiles have a very low shrink rate. And if we were to use a little hotter resin and hot coat these things, we could have a possibility of warping the core material. We want to keep it straight because we want to keep that straight, clean bulkhead.
So different resins have different temperatures when they kick off?
Right, they'll either kick off slower, a little cooler, and shrink less, or they're real hot resins that are going to go quicker and have a possibility of a shrink rate warping whatever material you're going on. And a lot of times it doesn't make a difference, but in our case we want to be sensitive to it. It's real good resin, by the way.
Well, what I need you to do is, why don't you go ahead and mix up the hardener for us.
All right, we're going to use this regular hardener here, MEKP, and we're going to mix it up to about, well, since it's not real sunny, probably go about 2%.
Now, is there a formula, if it is hot, if it is sunny, to use a certain amount? If it's cooler, if you're in a cooler climate, maybe you use a different amount? How do you determine that, Nick?
Actually, the manufacturers of the resins in their formulation determine how much your window of hardener will be. This particular resin, as with most polyester resins, is 1.5 to 2.5%. And again, being that it's a little cool today, the sun's not baking on it, we're going to go about 1.5%.
Okay, great. Well, this is all mixed up. Let's go ahead and brush it out. How much time do we have, cure time? We've
got about probably 10 minutes of working time before this stuff will gel on. It's maybe 15.
Well, right now we need to go to break, but stay with us. We need to hear a word from our sponsors.
ShipShape TV will be right back.
The SureHold Soft Brush. Perfect for use on boats, cars and trucks, decks and patios, and even windows. Specially designed split-end bristles hold more soap and water for effortless and effective cleaning. Built-in safety bumper protects surrounding surfaces from accidental damage. The included 48-inch threaded wooded handle is sturdy, lightweight, and strong. Proudly made in the USA, the SureHold Marine Mate Soft Brush is the worldwide standard in deck brushes. SureHold. Clean and simple.
We now return to ShipShape TV.
Welcome back. We left off before the break with us hot coating the core material outside the boat, and then Nick jumped inside. And Nick, you're doing some grinding. What's going on here?
John, we're getting ready to install the knees which we're going to fabricate. So any place in which I'm going to tie in new glass to old glass, I want to grind it back to get that good adhesion.
Real quick, what are the knees for?
John, you can see with this template that we're making up, I'm going to take and tie in the transom to the floor and to the stringer. We're going to take that 1.5 inch core material and bond two of them together to get us a big 3-inch chunk from here to here.
Okay. Well, why don't you hand me down the template and I'll cut those out.
Excellent.
Now, when you're laying this material out, you can't use a razor knife. You're going to need to use a skill saw. And it's very important when you're cutting this material that you wear safety goggles and a mask. When you're cutting the Vinicel, there are gases in it, and you just want to be safe. Well, Nick, I was hoping you could help me cut this material.
Sure,
Let me
I'll hold
get
this for you.
my equipment on. Do you have your stuff?
Yeah, all
Okay,
set.
good. And we'll go ahead and knock this out. Flip her over for me. There we go.
These look good, John.
Yeah, they came out nice. Now what we've been doing here is we went ahead and we coated this bulkhead again with some resin, prepping it for our fiberglass mat, which is what we're laying down here. Now, we need to put mat down before we can put any fiberglass cloth on top of it. That's the process of making a core bulkhead, is you go ahead and you hot coat it, then you put down some more resin, you put down your mat, and then you can put down your fiberglass cloth.
Well, I'll go ahead and hot coat those bulkheads too, John, while we got the resin here.
Well, speaking of hot, right now I want you guys to take a look at this great new boat that's out on the water. I know you're gonna flip out on this one.
My assignment this week was to check out the luxurious new Sea Ray 270 Sundancer. Standard power on this model is a 7.4-liter MerCruiser stern drive. This particular boat is equipped with the upgraded Bravo 3 outdrive. This was the first time that I've personally driven one of these new twin prop drives, and boy was I impressed. This boat literally jumped up on plane in just a few seconds. Cruising along at about 3,000 RPMs, I was amazed when I looked down at the speedometer and saw it approaching the 28-mile-per-hour mark. I'm told that at that comfortable cruise, she's only burning 13 gallons per hour. The standard tilt and power steering made this boat almost effortless to drive. There is literally no feedback or pull at the wheel in any operating range. In fact, I've never driven a single-engine stern drive boat that was this easy to maneuver, especially when backing down or in tight spots. Every Sea Ray is engineered for conditions that far exceed normal use. Sea Ray stands at the forefront of the boat building industry in the use of modern fiberglass technology, but still, each Sea Ray is laid up the old-fashioned way, by hand. All boats are backed up by a transferable 5-year warranty. There are no shortcuts taken in the building of these world-class boats, from the 270's Big Brother, the 65-foot cockpit motor yacht, down to the 14-foot jet-powered Sea Raider. You'll know why Sea Ray quality has become the most envied quality standard in the boating world. With room to seat the whole family, this starboard cockpit table handles more than just lunch on the water. This port-side storage compartment houses the standard shore, power cord, and receptacle. After a refreshing swim, you can board the boat from this built-in platform with ladder. Shower off with hot and cold water here, then re-enter through the cockpit door. The port-side lounger and back-to-back helm seat offer more than adequate seating and room for all. In bad weather, just snap up the standard bimini with front and side windows, and at night snap on the rear cover. Entering the cabin area was easy through this large sliding door with stainless steel track. Once inside, it's hard to believe that this boat is only 27 feet long. The list of standard amenities is large, starting with this starboard side galley with fiberglass sink and high faucet, alcohol electric stove, microwave and AC/DC refrigerator, a large trash receptacle, and upper and lower storage. All the features of home for those weekend getaways. I love the large stand-up head compartment with full functional head and holding tank. The shower stall was larger than expected for a boat this size. Ample storage in the vanity and side storage for toiletries. The large versatile V-berth doubles as a dinner table. Again, more storage is found below the bunks and in these large closets. This mid-cabin offers privacy for guests with plenty of fresh air from these aft screened windows.
This is a 270 Sundancer, and normal price on it's around $75,000, and we've marked this boat down to $64,900. We have two boats available. One's a 96 with a generator, or we have a new 97 without a generator, same price.
It's really unbelievable how much Sea Ray is packed into a 27-foot boat. From performance to comfort, this boat has it all. Reporting for ShipShape TV, I'm Elizabeth Saunders. Back to you, John.
Another real nice boat, John.
You know, a lot of these new manufacturers are using the composite materials throughout the whole boat.
They are, and some of them are introducing them, like just in the transom or in the floors. But I tell you, I think that's going to be something that's going to be the wave of the future. You're going to see full composite boats as a mainstay.
These boats are going to be lighter, faster, and stronger.
That's right.
What are you doing?
John, this is the 3M Marine Blister Repair. and I'm going to use it to make a bed to set these knees in place. When I go to do my glassing, I'm going to need to have these knees stable, and I didn't want to drill any screws or anything. So I'm going to use this material to kind of hold them in place and fill in any gaps and where the knees don't quite exactly match up, give me a nice smooth spot to lay up on.
Great. Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to head on down below and I'm going to lay our fiberglass cloth onto our bulkheads.
Oh, good. Then we'll have the bulkheads ready to put the mic on.
That's right.
Good.
I remember a couple of weeks ago when we were telling you the different types of fiberglass and what they're for, is we put some mat down on this bulkhead. Now that is not going to give us any structure at all, but we do need some structure, but not a whole lot. That's why we've chosen to go with a 4-ounce cloth. Now this is commonly known as surfboard cloth. And what we want to do on this is, again, we want to wet out our area, but we don't need to wet it underneath. We can wet it right out on top. When you're laying this out, you want to make sure that there aren't any crinkles or wrinkles in the material, because it's going to be really hard to get them out. So you want to lay it out the best you can. And again, all we're looking to do is add a little bit of strength to our bulkhead. Go ahead and wet this out a little bit. And then I'll come back with my metal roller and get it flush. Now the reason I was sanding the material is I wanted to take out any of the high spots that the other coat might have had, and I also wanted to make sure that we had a good adhesion surface for our cloth. Well, this looks like a great time to take a break. Stick around, because when we come back, Nick's going to show you how to fiberglass those knees in the boat. Stay with us.
ShipShape TV will be right back.
No more frozen snaps and zippers with the Sure Hold Snap Stick. The easy-to-apply wax is specifically designed to lubricate snaps, zippers, and other mechanical fasteners that are susceptible to corrosion. Add protection and lubricate valuable parts in just a matter of seconds. Stop fighting with snaps and zippers and add a quick dab of water-resistant Sure Hold Snap Stick. Sure Hold. Clean and simple.
And now back to the project.
Nick, I see that our vinyl ester repair filler has set up. What are you doing there?
John, I'm getting our material ready to tack in our knees. And see here, we've got some pretty heavy stuff. This is the 2408 knitted biaxial.
That stuff is stout.
There's a lot of material here, and 2408 is 24 ounces of material. Then we've got an 8-ounce mat on the back for bonding, so we can take the mat step out of everything.
Now I see that you're going to be mixing up some epoxy. You're not going to be using the polyester resin on this. Why is that?
Well, we went ahead and set this plug in a few weeks back with epoxy, and I like to go with epoxy back to epoxy versus vinyl ester or even polyester on epoxy. So we're going to go epoxy there, and plus the epoxy has a good secondary bond, which is going to tie into the hull and the stringers, which are vinyl ester.
Well, how have you cut out our pieces?
We've got 2 layers here I cut out that are going to go over these knees and tie in, and then I'm going to come back after they cure and do some more layers and attach it to the bottom. So this will be our first step.
Well, while you do that, let me go ahead and start the laminating process of our bulkheads.
Sounds good. When I'm using the 2408 knitted biaxial, I need to saturate the area really good with the epoxy first. The material is so thick that it's going to absorb a bunch. So I've went ahead and wet it out, and we're going to put the material where we want it and then apply some more epoxy and roll all the air out. A little tack coat. The epoxy doesn't necessarily saturate as quickly as a lot of your other resins. So you can put some on and then come back over it and you'll watch it absorb in. Once we get enough on, I'll take my roller and I'll work it in to all the material till it turns almost transparent, eliminating any air, and being real careful on the corners to get a good bond. Once I get this initial coat over both sides of the knee, I'll let that cure, and then I'll come back later and tie in some more and connect the two knees together with an overlap. Let's go see how John's doing down with the mica.
Whenever you're putting laminate on bulkheads, you want to utilize your space as best as possible. And basically what you're looking to do when you're measuring out your material is you want to give yourself a good inch, maybe an inch and a half overlap all the way around the outside of your piece. That's good. I like to use what's commonly known as a linoleum knife to cut my material. And you want to score it from the back side. And dig in about maybe a 32nd of an inch. And just follow your lines. Once all your laminate parts are cut out, you need to put on some contact cement. Traditionally, you would brush this product on both surfaces that you want to put together. But 3M's come up with a product that's a spray-on contact cement. And what's nice about this is it saves you a whole lot of time in not only application, but also in cleanup. But one point is you want to make sure that you're in a well-ventilated area. Don't do this in a garage or anything like that. It only takes about 5 minutes for this contact cement to dry. And then we put down some sticks. And notice that they're solid wood sticks. They're not plywood or particle board. That has glue in it, and you don't want that at all. You want to separate both pieces together. Then we'll flip this over. And we'll line it up all the way around to where all of our edges are covered. And then we can router and finish this piece off. We're going to work from the center, removing our sticks, and we'll go ahead and get both surfaces touching each other. We don't want any air bubbles in this. This looks like a great time to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to actually install them in the cabin. Stick around.
Here's what's coming up next on ShipShape TV.
Do it all with a SureHold telescoping handle. Designed with the easy-to-use SureLock quick release system, compatible with over 50 different attachments, transforming it into a deck brush handle, squeegee handle, swivel pad base handle, chamois mop handle, camera handle, floor broom handle, boat hook handle, water blade handle, landing net handle, even a threaded handle for equipment you already own, and more. Fully telescopic for easy storage or adjusting to the perfect length. Each SureHold telescoping handle is proudly made in the USA and is truly the one handle that does it all. SureHold. Clean and simple.
We now return to ShipShape.
Well, I got to tell you, our bulkhead came out looking like brand new. I've got it tacked in place, and I'm just wondering how our knees came out. Nick, how'd she look?
Turned out really good, John. You know, and I want to thank the guys over at Fiberglass Coatings. They set us up with some really good advice, the right materials, and the right price.
Those guys really know their stuff.
They do. What
are we doing next week?
Next week, we're going to put a Mermaid 6500 BTU air conditioner in this boat.
That is really going to be cool.
Oh.
That's all the time we have for this week's show, guys. Until next week, keep your boat ship-shape. Nick, I really like the way you tied these knees into these stringers. That was really smart.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do some what we call overlapping. We'll lay another piece in, and then we'll go like this with a piece on top of it, and we'll distribute the load even more.
All the bulkheads came out great.
Yeah, it's excellent.
They really did.
It lightened the boat up, too, you know?
Yeah, it did. Lightens it up. We're going to need to talk to Galley Mate.